The competitive landscape of Indian retail, chains like Big Bazaar, Reliance, and other brands fight for the dominance. And one company quietly built an empire. It is DMart. Founded by legendary investor Radhakrishna Damani, ranks among the top 10 richest Indians with an estimated net worth of $15.4 billion. Who is Radhakrishna Damani and how a BCom dropout student built an India's biggest business? Radhakrishna Damani left college to run his father's small business, but after his father's death in the 1980s, he entered stock market. His sharp market insight and profits from short selling overvalued stocks laid the foundation for his future success. As an investor, Damani studied companies like Hindustan Unilever, ITC, Dabur, and other FMCG chains, which consistently creating wealth and low-cost products, and they were recession-proof and have long-term growth. In late 90s and early 2000s, organized retail in India was underdeveloped. Most of the supermarkets were either small or poorly managed, and Damani saw a huge gap between the organized retail. DMart started its first store in 2002 at Powai, Mumbai, focusing on daily essentials. In this case study, we'll uncover how a simple supermarket turned into $1 billion empire. So let's get into the case study of DMart. So how DMart became so well known in India? It wasn't because of advertising or fancy store. It was because of price. So if you can save 5 or 10 rupees on an item, it can create a real value. Now you may think it's just 10 or 15 rupees cheaper. What's big deal? Imagine a middle class family doing its monthly shopping. Rice, oil, detergent, soap, and a full of basket. The savings could be 500 to 800. And that's the power of DMart. And customers didn't need TV ads or billboards to convince them. Their wallets told them the truth. And once families saw the saving, they came back again and again and again. Unlike traditional supermarkets that rely on flashy promotions, seasonal discounts, and high advertising spends, DMart follows everyday low price strategy, ensuring consistent affordability for Indian middle class. DMart's stock story is nothing short of an extraordinary.
Meanwhile, one of India's most profitable supermarket chains is about to hit Dalal Street. Avenue Supermarkets, which owns and operates DMart stores, is all set to raise over 1,800 crore rupees through an IPO.
When company launched its IPO in 2017 and went public, the shares were priced at just around 558 rupees. Fast forwarding 8 years to 2025, the stock now trades close to 4,700. That's nearly 9x growth. This isn't luck. It's a result of DMart's rock solid value chain, consistent profitability, and disciplined execution. In simple words, DMart is an example of how compounding creates wealth, steady growth year after year, turning patience into a massive returns.
How DMart giving it for low prices? First one, DMart direct procurement and logistics. DMart cuts out middlemen. They buy directly from manufacturers, which means no extra markup cost, and because they buy in bulk, they get massive discount from the manufacturers. On top of that, unlike most of the retailers who depend on third-party transporters, DMart runs its own fleet on vehicles. These trucks go directly from the company's manufacturing unit to DMart stores. No middlemen, no extra handling charges, just direct pipeline from manufacturer to market. This keeps up costs down and ensures fresh and consistent stock at every store.
So the second one is supplier payment strategy. Here is where DMart stands out from other retailers. Typically, retailers operate on credit agreements. That means if once manufacturer delivered the goods, the payment will be done after 60 or 90 or even sometimes 120 days after the delivery. In such cases, unsold stock can even return to the manufacturer. Rather than delaying payments, they pay supplier upfront or sometimes even in advance. Why? Because they are confident their shelves will clear out fast. This reliability earns them trust, priority supplies, and special discounts from the manufacturing. Savings that DMart passes directly to the customers. When you see low prices at DMart, it's not discount trick. It's a result of direct logistics, upfront payments, deep trust with the suppliers. So most of the retailers can't replicate how DMart is doing. So let's come to product diversification. So imagine a family doing its monthly shopping. If DMart only sells groceries, so then they might have to visit 3 different stores to complete their basket. But with DMart's diversification, they get everything: groceries, personal care, household items, clothing, and even small appliances in one trip. So this not saves time and money, but also cements DMart as a go-to store for the family. So in short, DMart product diversification isn't just about adding categories. It's a strategic move to control full household basket, drive consistent footfall, and maintain strong loyalty mainly from middle class and lower middle class families. For decades, India's retail backbone was Kirana stores, those small shops just outside our homes where convenience mattered than the price. Need a packet of rice or soap or a small sachet of shampoo, we directly go and buy there. So Kiranas are always there for us. But once DMart entered the scene, customer behavior began to change. Instead of buying daily or weekly from local shops, families started preparing monthly or weekly lists and heading straight to the DMarts. So this shift hits Kiranas hard. So sales were dropped, margins collapsed, and in many areas, entire clusters were shut down. Didn't stop at Kiranas. It also killed competition like Moore, Spencer's were completely shut down their businesses. Let's come to the major step in this video, that is DMart's expansion. In Indian retail story, two chains were began almost side by side, Big Bazaar in 2001 and DMart in 2002. But today, one is bankrupt and other is the most profitable retail chain in India. So what went wrong with Big Bazaar and what DMart do differently? So let's differentiate with these two chains. Big Bazaar started in 2001 and by 2010-11 they have opened around 250 plus stores across India. They wanted to be everywhere as fast as possible. DMart on the other hand took completely different path. Founded in 2002, its second store came only in 2004 and third store in 2006. By 2010 and 11, they were only opened 11 stores across Maharashtra and Gujarat because Radhakrishna Damani believed compounding. Store 1 profits used to create second store, and with store 1 and store 2 profits used to create third one, and same likely 1, 2, 3 profits used to create fourth one, and so on. So this way stores stood on solid foundation and profitability, unlike Big Bazaar, which grew fast on borrowed money and loans. One of the biggest differences between Big Bazaar and DMart was how they manage their backend. A business can raise like a skyscraper and collapse to the ground only depends on how they manage backend. Here, backend means inventory, vendors, and supply chain. Big Bazaar expanded fast, but its backend was weak. Vendors were often not paid on time, which created disrupt. Deliveries got delayed, shelves were empty, and customers couldn't find the products they wanted. The supply chain simply couldn't keep at the speed of expansion. Imagine going to buy rice or oil and finding the shelves were empty. It frustrated customers and broke the loyalty. DMart, on the other hand, built backend first and stores later. Radhakrishna Damani understood that retail business is one not at the billing counter but in warehouse. He focused more on inventory and back-end support. He focused on three things: vendor relationship, bulk buying, and efficient warehousing and inventory. DMart kept fewer product varieties but focused on high rotational essentials: rice, wheat, sugar, or soaps, detergents. Fast moving goods meant shelves were always stocked with minimal wastage. In short, Big Bazaar tried to look big from the outside but hollow inside. DMart looked small from outside, but when it comes to the backend, it was rock solid. That backend is what powered its compounding growth. So let's come to store model. Big Bazaar. Most of the Big Bazaar outlets were rented spaces in prime malls or commercial complexes. Rentals ate up huge portion of their revenue every month. Imagine if you earn 1 lakh rupee. If your house rent is 60,000, you will never save enough to grow. That's what happened with Big Bazaar. On the other hand, instead of renting, DMart bought lands and built its own stores. This was expensive in the short term, but in long term, it saved them from rent hikes and gave them complete control. Owning stores turned into an asset that keep appreciating. DMart planted seeds while Big Bazaar was paying rent to the someone else in the garden. Inventory and pricing strategy. Big Bazaar, they try to be everything for everyone. Thousands of SKUs, massive varieties, and endless festival discounts. But this led them to high wastage and cash stuck in unsold stock. They relied on heavy promotions to pull crowds. But once the sale was over, customers disappeared. This model was discount driven, not loyalty driven. DMart kept focused inventory. This didn't stock everything under the sun, only when families actually bought regularly. This meant faster to turn over the less wastage. Instead of one day discounts, they followed EDLP strategy, that is everyday low pricing strategy. Whether they came today or next week, the price would be the lowest. This consistently built long-term successful. That's what made EDLP strategy successful. Everyday low pricing strategy and seasonal discounts failed. This was the greatest move from DMart, that is private label strategy, DMart Premier. Most of the retailers depends on third-party brands, soaps from Hindustan Unilever, biscuits from Britannia, or rice or from local suppliers. But DMart went one step further, that is DMart Premier. Under Premier, it started selling staples like rice, dals, dry fruits, and other FMCG items. Why was this important? If DMart tries to sell other company products, a part of margin goes to that brands. What if they directly manufacture? So the entire margin with DMart. So from sourcing to packaging entirely by DMart. If this private label strategy cut down middlemen and give better price for the customers and more profitable for DMart. DMart used private label strategy as a backward integration strategy. DMart's micro revenue streams. Even after building an empire inside the store, DMart didn't stop there. Outside many of the outlets, you often see counters for popcorns, ice creams, and snacks. Now you may ask, why could such giant retailers care about 10 rupees or 20 rupees? The reason is simple. Even after a customer stepping out of a store is still a potential buyer. For example, if a store sells 1,000 popcorns a day at 20 rupees each, that is 20,000 a month. That's 20,000 from one store. Multiply that across 350 plus stores. That is 6 crore a month or 70 crore a year just from popcorn. It's not about price, it's about scaling. A brand like Act Popcorn or Quality Walls Ice Cream spends crores on marketing and distribution. But DMart, it's just places a stall outside its own store and taps in same cravings instantly. No extra marketing, no extra cost, only additional revenue. This is what we call it as revenue optimization. So squeezing every opportunity. For DMart, no stream is too small because when millions of the customers walk in and out every day, even smallest will become a gold mine. The biggest threat for DMart, it doesn't come from Reliance or Big Bazaar. It's from quick commerce existence. Players like Blinkit, Zepto, and Instamart changing the game with 10 or 15-minute deliveries. Quick commerce has already taken 1 to 1.5% of sales in key cities. This market is exploding. In 2023, it was $2.3 billion and it was expected to hit $40 billion by 2030. That means 3 lakh crore rupees. Now, here is the difference. DMart is not rushing into 10 minutes delivery. Instead of focusing on DMart Ready, where deliveries are done in 12 to 24 hours, DMart wants to stick to its strength, bulk buying, lowest prices, rather than burning cash like quick commerce. What's the conclusion? DMart is still profitable, still growing, but future won't be the same. Quick commerce is not a small player, so it's changing how Indian shops. If DMart adapts smartly, it can continue leading. If not, the empire can be eaten by quick commerce companies like Blinkit, Zepto, and Instamart. If this type of content excites you, do subscribe for my YouTube channel and wait for upcoming videos. If you still not see my previous video, it will be in my channel, so please check out. Thank you.